I love this show. I've been such a fan since the beginning. I love El Rey. I think the network is just so cool for fans of movies and pop culture in general. So I'm going to stop yammering so we can get these guys out here. First, please let me introduce executive producer, writer, and director Diego Gutierrez. And please put your hands together for Mr. Maurice Compte. You know him, you love him, the peacekeeper, Mr. Jesse Garcia. Most definitely the lady of the hour. Boy, do I have questions for her. Miss Madison Davenport. And finally, one half of the Gecko Brothers. Please put your hands together for DJ Catrona. I've been a fan of this show since the beginning, and I think even just 2 episodes into season 3, safe to say this is a lot has changed since season 2.
Very much.
And so I would like to put it to the panel, you know, is this exciting for you all since you've inhabited these roles or some version of your role, which we'll get to later, for so many, for already previous seasons? Is it nice to kind of shake it up a little bit? Anybody
who wants it?
Or Diego, if you, I mean, especially, you know, being involved behind the scenes too, you have to make these decisions and say, okay, we're steering the ship and this is where we're going.
Yeah. I mean, I think, look, it was a little bit of both. You know, I think on the one hand, it's a little nerve-wracking because the show was on a particular path in seasons 1 and season 2. You know, Robert, as he is wont to do, threw us a big curveball at the beginning of the season and said, how about we completely shake it up and we make it into this? We make it more of a Monster of the Week format and, you know, throw something new at people every episode. And I think for us, it was that, you know, the challenge was how to safeguard all these characters and this storyline and the tone of the thing and the genre of the thing that people had grown to appreciate and we'd grown to love, but, you know, give it something new as well, you know, break the mold a bit. So always nerve-wracking, but I think rewarding as well.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, for sure. I mean, it's fun and rewarding as a fan as well because you like, in a way, it's all the people you know and love and some new people, which we'll get to in a second. But yeah, I mean, I think it's really fun. And so I wanted to ask also, Diego, the mythology. Season 2 was very heavy into mythology, right? We learned a lot, not just about the Culebras, but about just a ton of different, you know, mind teleportation and control and you know, Richie has the eyeball in his hand and all of these cool things. Can we expect going into season 3 that we will continue to expand this mythology?
Definitely. I mean, you know, a big part of that expansion comes from the new monsters, the new breed of monsters that our characters are dealing with. So, you know, pretty much every week you get to see a whole new creature and a new incarnation of that new breed of demonic creatures. So that we're expanding it there. It's all still based on the same Aztec and Mayan mythology that we've always, you know, we dove into in the last 2 seasons, and we dive into it as well here. And then, you know, for us, really the fun and the challenge was how do you tie that back into everything that's happening with our characters and try to have it resonate as much as possible with the characters that you've come to know and love and give them new things to play around with as well. So, yeah.
And, okay, so DJ, let's, you know, Seth, I think, finished season 2 in kind of a tough spot. I mean, he started it in kind of a tough spot as well.
Yes, he did.
Lives in a tough spot.
Yeah.
A lot of spots.
A lot of spots.
A lot of spots.
A lot of spots happening. So, but, you know, can you talk a little bit about where we last left him at the end of season 2? Because from where I was sitting, I saw his girlfriend had betrayed him after maybe he had tried to let someone in. Richie obviously looked as though he was sort of looking out for his own interests.
Yes.
Can you all these things? Can you expand on all that?
Yeah. You know, season 2 was exciting and a little trepidatious in the beginning because the exciting thing is, you know, we all love these characters and we love this world so much just as fans. And season 2 was the first time we really were breaking totally new ground. So it was exciting, but I didn't quite know where the character was going to go. And obviously we started him at rock bottom, and you were busy momming me.
Like a nurse
but
of
you know, but
heroin.
it was a fantastic, and I remember even talking to Carlos and Diego about it. Like, what? Like, I'm sticking needles in my neck? Like, what? I'm doing heroin? Like, what?
I'm
But-
sticking needles.
Sorry, yes, you were sticking needles in my neck, and but I know I'm still waiting for it. But it was a great arc because you know we have Seth and Richie are very much two halves of the same whole. I said it 1,000 times. They're very codependent, and they work as a unit in every possible way. And they were split in half. Richie's obviously completely become part of an entirely different world, and he's following this birthright he has. And Seth is just completely he's destitute. He's not the character. So for him, it was a process of rebuilding himself and coming to terms with the fact that he cannot. Half of his existence is his brother, so he has to mend that fence in order to have any kind of a life. And by the time he actually, we've all seen it, but by the time he gets to the end of the second season, I think the relationship he has with his brother and how much he needs him supersedes all the things he doesn't want to admit are now real, like this whole other demonic, hellish world he has to deal with because his brother is very much part of it now. So he essentially, somebody's getting
I'll call him back. I'll call him
data
back. Take it up.
charges. He has to accept a certain amount of the thing he hates so much for his brother.
Coming
So
after you.
it's very much like.
I don't know who it is. I'll find you.
It's like an act of love. It's a sacrifice he makes to be part of his brother. So he bites the bullet and he accepts it and he tries to go back to the Seth and Richie they were and make it work in this new world that they're a part of.
And now they are back together as far as we've seen so far. And yet the deal that they were promised doesn't exactly appear to be. I mean, they're sort of, it's sort of like they're maybe, would you say, lower level in the chain of command?
Yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know, what is it like? It's like it's like you answer a want ad. So it's like that scene in Heat where he gets out of prison. And he has a new job. He's all excited. He goes up to the cook. He's like, all right, I'm ready to work. And the guy doesn't even look at him. He's like, go wash the dishes. Shut up. Get away from me. He's like, what the hell? Yeah, they're essentially
Bus boys.
busboys.
Bad
Oh, shit. They're collectors. They're essentially, they're assistants. They're running around collecting loose change for this Culebra criminal underworld organization. And they're at the bottom of the food chain. So it's a huge hit to the ego. Seth and Richie are guys that like to work on their own and work for themselves, and they find themselves as executive assistants for this big organization. So Seth's in a really, really tough spot, but the fact that he's there is a testament to how important his brother is to him. So when things start to fall apart, obviously, he's really quick to snap and want to break away.
Son. Hi. All right, so you guys just saw what just happened. Boy. So, Kate has been resurrected in a way. Her body is living.
Her body's being used.
Her body is being used by a queen.
Put the eyebrows away, DJ.
Well, we're going to get to you two in a minute for sure. But this is like almost like your Dark Phoenix, your Dark Willow. Like, I mean, this is really awesome and so unexpected. I did not see this coming. I thought, okay, she's going to become a Culebra, like fine, but this is whoa. Yeah. So I want to know about when you were told by the showrunners and the creative team, hey, guess what we're doing with your character next season?
Well, basically, Diego and Carlos kind of informed me that, you know how, like you said to Richie, I hope you burn in hell. Well, now you get to make them all burn in hell. With the help of Maurice and Brasa.
Yes.
I mean, when I found out that I was going to be the big bad, I didn't know how to feel about it. I mean, it's such a change to go from this Bible-thumping, normal teenage girl to a criminal who helps people shoot heroin. to trying to save her brother and get her family back, and then to dying, and now we don't know what I am. I'm the queen of hell. Is Kate still there? And you guys will kind of find that out this season, whether or not she's savable.
Well, that's what I was wondering. I mean, obviously, I don't know. Maybe we'll get to the bottom of that tonight. But there's this line that she has where she says, "I can feel her." When they mention Scott,
I can feel her yearning for him inside of me. Yeah.
Yes. And
I just watched it right there. I mean, yes, I'm really good at
well studied. Well studied. In fact, she brought her character Bible that she'd like to read to you all.
Exactly.
I would like to preach.
That's dedication right there.
But no, I mean, so yeah, that led me to really ask that question. And Diego, I mean, when you guys were coming up with this and making this decision, this is a character who already had changed a lot since the pilot. I mean, big time, as had Scott as well. But now this is completely different. So can you talk a little bit about where this idea came from and the decision to take it down this road?
Yeah, well, you know, obviously with the show now having gone through 2 seasons, the characters that were part of the movie were now so much deeper, and we've taken them to so many different places. That suddenly you find yourselves in funny places when at the end of the season you try to create a big bang, and then you're like, and now we've done this, and Kate's dead. Is she dead? Wait a minute, what do we do? So, you know, there was, but really for us it was mostly kind of just exciting possibilities of what we could do. Obviously we knew that, you know, we were not going to let Madison go. You know, all of our actors are kind of precious to us. They're amazing resources, so we did not, you know, we wanted to.
Zane and I were like, are you sure?
You're like, kill her off, please.
But really, I think it was kind of I think we all went there similarly, you know, at the same time, and knew that, you know, Maddie could do so much more than the Kate that we've seen. So we wanted to explore that, and Robert, I think, you know, he probably, you know, I always say that Robert probably came up with it way before we even thought about it, because he tends to do that. But once he sort of settled on, oh yeah, no, this is she's going to go dark and she's going to be bad and evil, then we just ran with that, and it was like, all right, well, what's better than making one of our, you know, our favorite characters in the show and from the movie, and just flip him completely. And now where she was kind of the voice of goodness and morality, and
the light, yeah.
And the light in the show. What happens to the show when you turn that light off and you make it completely dark, and what does that do to the rest of the characters, and how much do they fight to try to get back that morality in themselves and in her? So it just kind of, story-wise, it seemed to, you know, kind of branch out in a bunch of interesting places, and we just ran with it. So
I can't wait to see where it goes. All right, so Jesse, hi. Hi. Okay.
Stop it, you're not Amaru. Stop it. It's okay.
Your blue steel, all the blue steel. So, okay, now Freddie he's the peacekeeper now, as we see, but he's also finding himself, boy, he's in a tough spot as well. Not only is he having to work with this, you know, this person that he really doesn't, in theory, like, right, because of the Culebras, we find him estranged from his family as well. So everybody, I feel like rebirth and reinvention is sort of the theme of all of these characters in a way. Can you talk a little bit about where he's come from, and sort of, I mean, where is he left to go? You know, like, I love this line of I only get drunk every other night. Thank you very much. So, like, he clearly has standards. I mean, he is no slouch. Thank you very much. But exactly. But what are your thoughts on that?
I don't know. I think he came from, I think from the first season, I feel like, I've always felt like things were happening around him and he was reacting, you know what I mean? And it's like playing dodgeball and you don't have a ball. You don't need to throw anything back. And I had shit thrown at me the whole time. Until like toward the end of the season, I finally got to pick up a couple and threw back. Is that a weird analogy?
End analogy immediately.
Yeah.
You forgot the P, like that you were peed on, too.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Anyway, dodgeball.
And I felt like second season he was get to be a little bit more proactive, and he's, you know, more, you know, he's come to terms with his part of this world, but just nothing can seem to go his way. In the second season, he loses his family. His family can't take it. You know, it's probably for the best. You know, he just can't really protect them. And then this season, he's dealing with things the best way he can. Formed a new partnership with Jimena. Reluctant, but I think there's a cool partnership there. But he's doing everything he can to try to find I think his ultimate goal is to get his family back.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. I mean, Jimena and him seem to have. I like their dynamic a lot. I think it's cool. I think it's really fun to watch. And man, I loved that confrontation where she kind of gave you the business in this episode. Where she's like, "Things are not going well for you."
I haven't seen it. I don't know.
Oh no!
I don't remember it.
You
No.
guys know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
There was some serious business in this episode, shade throwing for sure. Okay, but so what can we? I like that it's almost like he has a partner in crime as well, a little bit. What can we expect, or can you preview anything between their relationship, sort of going forward in season 3?
I don't know. I think that they have a cool dynamic, and it's the way they grow throughout the season. The relationship. You don't know if there's something romantic, or if there's not. If it's just like, weird crime-fighting duo.
It's a weird crime fighting.
Totally
Yeah,
weird crime-fighting duo. Who also maybe romantically fighting crime?
Maybe.
Maybe.
You never know.
Nailed it.
Margaret and Billy.
What about Margaret and Billy? I don't know. He's holding out hope. He's still got his ring on. So.
Yeah. All right. Good point. Fair enough. Diego, what do you make of all of this? What can you tell us about this new?
He's like, no,
friendship?
I literally do make all this.
Yeah. Tell me how you make all of
what I
this.
see. No, I mean it's with Freddie, I think it's kind of like Jesse was saying. He goes from being a character who's saw the world as very black and white when he starts off in season 1, and I think the further that he dives into this, the more that obviously sort of the shades of gray start emerging for him, and he was kind of thrust into a role. It's like when somebody tells you you are the anointed one, and you're like, but I'm still like the little old dude I was a second ago. So what the hell does this anointed shit mean? And and so I think he's sort of more and more not just settles into that role, but in this season kind of really grabs it by the balls, so to speak, and runs with it. And his relationship with Jimena is part of that, because he's always, vampires killed his, or culebras as we call them, killed his mentor, Earl McGraw, and to be working alongside one of them now, and to be working along with the Geckos is a like you were saying, kind of a rebirth and complete flip of everything that he's known, and that's the road that he's on.
All right, now Maurice. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Boy. Okay, so my first note about your character in my notes is your character is not effing around.
Yeah.
Is that what you say? That's a fair assessment?
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, here I was in hell, minding my own business, trying to get out of there. And then I get out and I step into this completely dysfunctional family.
Right.
I don't know what's going on. Maddie's always mean to me. I have to be
Join the
completely
club, man.
submissive.
Queen of hell.
So they cut out scenes where I'm actually trying to find my way back in, and I'm like, dude, what is going on here? No, this is, for me, this has turned out to be amazing. We have this plan that I think had been going on for thousands of years. We wanted to take back what was rightfully ours, and now we finally get the opportunity to do this. And I think there's very much a hierarchy that exists within this that starts to form, that really gives a different sense to my character and allows them to line up on the other side of that in a much more cohesive way.
Well, and your character so far appears to sort of be Amaru's sort of right-hand man, or very, So can you guys talk a little bit about that dynamic? I mean, this is because, listen, truthfully, it's a new dynamic for, I think, everyone. We haven't seen formerly Kate in this way, and now she not only has all of this power and deserves and believes herself to be a rightful queen, but she also has this God who is working for her, with her. Would you say for her? Or
Now,
with
come
her?
on.
He's my bitch.
Depends on who you ask.
In a lot of ways, I kind of was. Yeah,
No, I mean, they've been separated for a long time. Now remember, this is not Kate. This is Kate's body being controlled by the Queen of Zababa. And this might be me. I mean, it's all me, but it's not Kate. So I mean, they've got this dynamic where he would do anything for her. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think I was secretly in love with her, but you know, I'm a demon. I can't really love, you know. So I was just like, maybe she'll notice me if I flop up my collar, you know.
I don't think Amaru ever was like,
no.
I don't think Amaru was ever like, no, that's never gonna happen. I feel like she was kind of like, sure, if you're gonna.
You guys
You're
are writing
paying.
entirely
One of us might not survive.
I like how y'all are writing
I'm
fanfic.
excited to watch it.
Yeah.
It's like fan fiction written by the cast of From Dusk
You're
Till
welcome.
Dawn, which I love.
and
It's into
go.
a writing room right now.
Let's brainstorm.
Here's my question, because as we've seen over the last couple of seasons, allegiances and alliances can change. And that, you know, I pose the question, is it possible that Brasa will always be indebted to Amaru, or could he be swayed?
You know, I think a character like Brasa always has his own kind of view of the way things will ultimately go. Ultimately, with characters like Brasa, loyalty is sketchy. I think that he also recognizes the position that he's in, and at this point, he's not in a position to do anything but be the subservient character that we see him as. Obviously, that kind of creates some resentment and animosity.
That you take out on me later.
I don't know if we're allowed to talk about a lot of this stuff, but but Brasa has anger issues. We can be sure that
yeah.
Brasa
Well, I think it's also
is
hard
pissed.
for Brasa because you're in your true form. Like, you have your powers, and Amaru's kind of trapped in this girl's body, and you know that you could defeat her with just one touch.
Yeah, I look at her and I'm like, it's so hard to believe that she's 4,000 years old. I mean,
God, she
Lord.
looks amazing. The eye cream.
All right. Always so amazing. Diego, I wanted to ask you, you know, we saw Richie. One of the things that was really interesting with his character arc was he seemed to become more empowered last season. Like kind of coming into his own in a way, whether it was with his relationship with Issa's character or other ways. So is this something that we're going to see continue into this season, or has he kind of been knocked down a peg like we talked about a little earlier?
Yeah.
DJ Man.
Knock him down.
Well, like, get on a stepladder and then knock it.
Right.
Anyway.
No,
Step on your apple box.
That is kind of what's happened. He's been knocked down a peg, I think, as well with his brother. It's kind of this season, whereas last season, because of the events in the movie and the way that the first season ended with him being Culebra and DJ and Seth being human, there was a natural division there that season 2 kind of exploited, where these two characters were going in their separate ways. But now at the end of season 2 and into season 3, it's sort of like, well, even, like DJ was saying, even though you're a Culebra and I'm human, we're still kind of both runts all of a sudden. We're still sort of the chumps for these sort of mid-boss kind of people, that we're working for. And I think even though Richie still, I think, believes in the hierarchy, where Seth, again, could give a flying hoot about the hierarchy and never cares about it, and is cynical and doubts it, never really buys into it. Richie's completely, it's the only club he's ever really fully belonged to and felt good in. So I think he has a faith in these people are going to do right by us, and if we keep going up the ladder, we'll get rewarded. Whereas Seth never does. And I think what they both kind of learn, and it kind of happens early on in the season, is that the people that they were working for, that they thought were kind of the end-all be-all, that were going to get them what they wanted, turns out that those aren't really the people that are in charge, and there's always someone bigger. There's a bigger shark out there, and now all the rules are gone, and we got to figure out what we do now. So.
DJ and Madison, you guys started season 2 very connected, as we saw, as we lightly discussed earlier. But in all,
Death touch.
yeah, he's gone now. No, but in all seriousness, I thought one of the more moving things that I've seen on this show was the realization for you especially, but that you guys are still alive. That Kate looks as though she's still alive, even though it's her body that's being controlled, or learning she was dead. and then seeing her, and then your character obviously makes eye contact at the wrestling. So for you guys, I mean, is there going to be more that we'll see? Will their past relationships sort of factor in, or is Amaru sort of just like her own lady?
I don't know how much we can give away, but I
Can't
think...
divulge that.
All right, next question.
Done.
I can say that, you know, I think that because of what's happened in the past and how attached Kate is to the Gecko brothers and to her own brother and to all these people that she loves so much and spent so much time trying to, I hesitate to use the word save, but save. She wanted her normal life back, and I feel like that's still there in a way.
Yeah.
In a way.
Boom.
Good, very.
And also, like, I think, you know, Kate, whether, as you will see, whether it's her, you know, as a character, as an actual person, whether she survives or not, or if it's just the idea of who she was. I mean, you know, when we meet the Gecko brothers, they're the most selfish, you know, means to an end. I grab the money, kill anybody in my way, get to where I want.
Kidnap the wholesome family.
Kidnap the wholesome family. But I think also, like, you notice in the reason Seth has a problem with what's going on with his brother in season 1 is there's got to be a sliver of a moral compass in him, and you see it. He has his own code. It's the most screwed up code you've ever heard in your life, but he has a code. He's trying to hold on to some shred of humanity so he can justify all these actions. So when he gets to that beach or whatever it is he's trying to get to, he can drink his Mai Tai and not freak out.
In
you know?
peace.
He's trying to make himself feel okay. And I think when they kidnapped the Fullers, Kate, and I've said this a lot, but it's true, like, Kate represented his moral compass. It was the part that was always slightly protective of her and always checking was the shred of humanity that hadn't been tainted in him. So,
well, he's like, he wanted to kidnap our family to get across the border, but he
Yeah.
didn't want to ruin them. You know?
exactly, he didn't want to do anything. So, but obviously, as all the crazy things that have happened, I think that never goes away, and he feels a responsibility. Saving her is saving a part of himself, and it's also just saving her because obviously they've been through so much. So, it's you will see more of it. I won't tell you what happens with it and where it goes, but yes, it's cat and mouse throughout the entire season.
All right, fair enough. So this is, they're giving me the signal that it's almost time.
Cool.
But I do have to ask, because the past 2 seasons have been filled with really fun cameos, fun appearances by various people that we know and love.
Yeah.
Can you guys preview anyone that might be popping up this season? Mr. Tom Savini is back this season, or coming this season, yeah?
Yes,
Yeah.
very much so.
Which is very cool.
Amazing.
Might anybody else be popping up that we can keep our eyes on?
Action star Marco Zaror.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Marco,
yeah?
came to play with us.
There's keep your eyes open.
Sit up.
Never know what might happen.
There he is.
Hello.
Yeah, there he is.
He's so cool this season. Oh, I can't wait for you guys to see him. So cool.
Yeah,
Very
we have other folks that I think are under the mask as well, you know, that, so to speak, came and played creatures for us. I'm not sure who we're allowed to reveal or who
He's been
not.
released.
Oh, yeah, Nikki Whelan came back
Yeah.
and played kind of a character that's part of the Grindhouse canon,
Yeah.
which we're very excited about having her. And then
Anna.
Oh, yeah. Ana de la Reguera came back and played, not came back, but came on board and plays a very important role in the hierarchy of the Culebra world. So she did a lot of fun stuff. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. I mean, we have.
So we'll just keep our eyes peeled.
Yeah, keep your eyes peeled,
Keep
because
our
there's
eyes
some. I'm
peeled?
not exactly sure which ones I'm supposed to tell you or not at this point.
Yeah.
So
All
I
right,
won't say
guys,
more,
I
but
tried to get
there's
dirt
fun
from
people
them.
coming
You
in.
saw, right? I tried real hard. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the cast behind.